guys, welcome back to Ollie Talks Airsoft. Today we're going to be talking about this particular plate carrier setup that I've got, which is a Ferro Concepts Slickster, and this is what I run in CQB. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through the plate carrier, why I like it, why I chose it, some of the features of it, and the other things that I've done to it to make it what I want and to fulfill my needs. So first off, this is a medium Ferro Concepts Slickster in Multicam Black. It has adjustment on the shoulder pads that goes through the back here, and so it's completely slick, no adjustment points at the front, no buckles or anything like that for you to get caught up on, or when you're shouldering a rifle. It's like completely slick down here, and I really like that about it. So it adjusts at the back. So you set it up at the back roughly how you want it using Velcro attachments, and you have these elastic cummerbunds that go around the side, and each one has 4 pouches, so 4 on each side, so a total of 8, and they can hold AR mags, and you can just about fit an AK mag in there as well. And then the front of it, as it comes, will just be completely slick, and it allows you to then obviously attach on whatever else you want. You know what, I'm just going to leave that on there, it's too hard to get off. So this is how the front will look, where it's completely slick, and you've got handles so you can obviously open it up, and you can see underneath is the handle for this side. What I'd normally do when I put this on is I'll open up one side, put it on, then I pull it down a little bit at the front, make sure that it's pulling down a little bit on my shoulders to mean that it's seated correctly. And because I run gas mags, I know there's going to be some weight in this as well. So once I've adjusted it, it's not too comfortable, so that I can still take a deep breath. It's not sort of restricting me at all in any way. At that point I can put my front panel down, and this is how I run my subgun mags in here. So in airsoft, unlike in the real world, the reason for running a plate carrier is actually just to carry mags. That's basically it. You can carry mags just in a backpack or a knapsack or something like that, but this is actually tends to be a faster way to access your mags, and also it will stop BB strikes on your front and on your back. You're still vulnerable at the sides a little bit. You do get a small amount of protection, but it's not huge. So you do have options as well with what you put on the front. So I choose, because this is my CQB rig, that's why I choose to have a subgun pouch, although I could swap it out. I have run an M4, and the way I choose to do that is obviously I'll just utilise the front 2 side pouches here, because they're still accessible. I can still reach to them with both arms, and one here, one on my waist, and one in the gun. So I can still run an AR even with this, you know, subgun design front shingle. And obviously when I'm running a subgun, I can do 4 mags, which is great. So I've done a couple other little things with this, and there's a couple of reasons that I've done various things. So in the back, rather than having a more rigid plate, I found that you can run this with nothing in, and it's very comfortable, but it tended to like fold up and ride up a little bit, so it needs something. So I've actually just got some really thin foam. It's very low density foam in there, and what it means is that the back of the plate carrier will conform to the shape of my back. In the front, I've actually gone for a slightly more rigid but still very flexible plate. I want it flexible so that it's comfortable. You know, I don't want to be uncomfortable out on the field, and one of the other reasons that I picked this particular plate carrier is because it is incredibly light. So the fact that it's very light, and by the name Slickster, it is also very slick. There are no sort of parts to catch on it. You know, there are no extra buckles and things like that. It is very simple, and for that reason, I think it's a really excellent option for airsoft, especially if you're thinking about something like CQB. Now, the reason that I specify sort of it's such a good option for CQB is there isn't any way, unless you buy a separate back panel, there isn't a way to run hydration on this. So typically the games that I'll be running this in will be somewhere between 15 minutes to like 45 minutes. So I don't really need to take hydration out with me for that kind of period of time. Whereas if I'm thinking about going out to a woodland game, I'll probably, I might be going out for a couple of hours, it could be rolling games. This actually doesn't have any way to support me sort of carrying some hydration, like a couple of litres or something on my back. I think around here I do have I can't see it, but a source back panel, but obviously this being a Slickster, there's no molly on it. So anything that I put on there would have to be velcroed, and there is a chance obviously when it's on your back, if you're going through some thick brush or something like that, or some bushes, then it could come off, you may not notice. So that's the reason that I prefer to run this one for CQB, just because it's light, it's fast, and yeah, it does everything I need. So I know that there are other options out there for different plate carriers, and what I always think of, to be perfectly honest with you, is Ferro Concepts, when they built this Slickster, they set out with a person or a type of people in mind. They were thinking about shooters. They wanted to create something which could hold plates, it could hold mags, but it was also going to be fulfilling a function for an end user. When you buy something that's a replica, what they're trying to do is just recreate the look. They're trying to recreate the same patterns, the same cuts, and actually their R&D hasn't gone into, okay, where should it be sitting? How is it going to be more comfortable? Is it going to cut in? Have we tapered the shoulders and double stitched them? What's the material that we've used on the inside? And they've really considered everything that they've done in every step of making this. And the reason that some of the other plate carriers that I've had in the past, which have been not genuine, I found that they've had either straight shoulders and they've cut in, and it's my choice not to wear a BDU with a high collar. It's personal preference, but you shouldn't adversely suffer it just because you don't want to wear full camo head to toe. This is pretty much what I would go out wearing. Maybe something on my sleeves, but that's it. So I don't tend to wear a high collar, but I don't think that I should have a plate carrier that cuts in just because I don't want to do that. And this is where this comes in really well, because gas mags are considerably heavier than AEG mags. So if you're going to be running maybe 6 AEG mags, then that may be a kilo. If you're going to be running 6 gas mags, that's probably about 3 kilos, maybe a little bit more. So as soon as you start adding that weight up, then it starts to change the balance of the plate carrier, change how it feels, changes how you can actually move in it as well. So this is one way of looking at it, but obviously when it's got mags either side and things like that, you do sit out a little bit further. So that's always stuff to consider. So I do like the fact that Ferro Concepts have developed a product which essentially for me ticks all the boxes. Now I'm just shy of 6 foot. This is a medium. Maybe I should have got a large, especially for airsoft, just to give you a little bit more coverage. But I did my usual thing. I didn't pay full price. I managed to find it at a bit of a discount. So when it's like that, you kind of just have to take what's on offer. I probably, in hindsight, I would have preferred to have had a Ranger green, but Multicam Black is very cool, so no objections. So as I mentioned before, I've got a couple of additions on here, the most important of which probably isn't even this shingle attachment. It's probably the dangler. In airsoft, getting shot in the belly, it can be pretty sensitive. So having something there to protect your kind of midriff is really nice. What do I run in here? Often nothing. It's solely there as something to protect me a little bit. You could probably fit maybe a small water bottle, but it will, it'll bounce back and forward. I've put my LCP in here, and I've also run tag rounds, so it will fit like the full length shells. You can fit a couple of them, especially in the middle ones, and a couple of short ones at the side, so you can do that. That is an option. But really for airsoft, it's just about not getting shot in the belly and not having just that extra pain. It's quite nice as well with these because you can hear when you get hit, unlike when you get hit on clothing. So that's another reason that I also quite like running a plate carrier. A little bit of protection, easier to hear when you're hit, especially if you're hit in the back or something like that. Like, it's really noticeable. So that's another reason that I do like it, because it means that it helps you to be a more honest player. If you're running big, thick, like ceramic plates or something like that, if you're mil simming, that's a bit of a different affair. They actually sound different when they get hit to some of these foamy plates. So that's something that I quite like about the setup that I've got. So yeah, slightly softer at the back, slightly more rigid at the front. Also means that any of the mags in here, when I'm sort of moving around and stuff, it's not bending up on or like digging into me or anything like that, because it's got that slightly more rigid backbone to it. So the last bit to talk about was probably yep, the shingle on the front. So this is a Blue Force Gear Quad MP7 shingle, but it happens to fit all of my subgun mags, even the big fat MP9, yeah, MP9 mags. Yep, even they fit in here. They stretch it out a little bit, but the functionality is absolutely fine. So this is how I choose to run it. Yeah, I'd be interested if anyone else has got one of these, or if anyone's thinking of buying one. What did you think of it? I think it's fantastic for airsoft. Can't speak for real steel. I don't have real plates to put in it. I do have one real boron composite plate, which I actually bought because I was running my JPC and all of the mags were at the front, and there were times that I was running sort of 6 or 7 mags, and that was really pulling down the front of the plate carrier. And with this having slightly more rigid plates, it meant that having a counterbalance weight in the back was really good. I ended up at even one point having like mags that you would pull down at the back as well. But I'm going to talk about this plate carrier another time, because this is more my outdoor build and yeah, mil city type stuff. But for pickup games, for short games, the Ferro Concepts Slickster, you kind of can't go wrong. And in this kind of configuration, being able to immediately swap between M4 mags and running sort of 2 on each side, one on the belt, one in the gun, to switching to a sub gun and being able to run 4 in the front and 1 in the gun, that's perfect for me. And I don't actually have to change anything throughout the day. The fact that it's so lightweight and it's obviously very easy to take on and off means that, yeah, it's a really great option for me. And I find that even when I've put lots of gas mags in, it will pull down, but it doesn't actually, it doesn't misshape too much, it doesn't sort of move around too much. Obviously you have your adjustment and you set it up for yourself, but once you've set it up, it pretty much stays the same. It's not the same as putting real plates. You know, you're not going to be, no one's shooting real bullets back at you. So, you know, I think it's supposed to be like 2 fingers below your sternum. So really mine should be like, it should be up here somewhere, like a little bit higher. It's airsoft, guys. Like, we wear these things to look cool, but we don't want them to be uncomfortable. And that's where this really comes in, because it's designed, it's built to carry that weight, and it's built to be very light and very comfortable while carrying that weight. And I can attest to it, it really is. So hopefully you guys have found this useful. If you're new to the channel as well, welcome. I hope you've enjoyed like today's kind of look at the Slickster and a couple of the extra little bits you can put on it, and the extra bits that you can't put on it due to there being no way of putting anything on the back. So yeah, and also to all the recent people that have subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate all your support. It's been wonderful, like seeing all the comments and stuff, and yeah, it's been really good, great engagement. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one.